All right, right now we're going to be riding the 2018, I believe, Ducati Multistrada S. This is a very, very fun bike, kind of a Swiss Army knife. It has the active suspension on the S model, which is pretty different with this one. A lot of other S's, if you know about Ducatis, is usually going to be their ONYX package, but a little bit of background, the Multistrada won Pikes Peak, or at least set a record at some point. So they named their ONYX model Pikes Peak. But the S is the active suspension, so this one has different, modes that you can click it into. And we're going to be taking a look at some of the modes, but mainly just going to be riding this bike, make sure everything works as it's supposed to be, and give you an idea how she feels. So kicks right over. I do have to remind myself if this has a down quick shifter as well before I make a mistake. It does have up and down. That's fun. I love rev match quick shifters. I feel like it's just all the fun in the world, to be able to bang through those gears. It's a little bit less thinking, and yeah, I get it. It's not the original way of doing things, but boy does it work fast. And as much as I love rev matching and stuff, and that it sounds cool, in the middle of a corner it adds nothing but risk. So oh man, this bike is so light and maneuverable. It feels like I'm on a sport bike. Yeah, just turn in quick, snappy, easy roll on throttle out of the exit. This thing is goofy. I'm gonna have a ball with this bike. I can tell. Keep the tires warm though. I'm still warming these guys up. Yeah, quick shifter was butter smooth, but we're really about to find out right here. Also test some of the wind protection. It did not even feel like I shifted a gear. That is so awesome. I mean, I'm sure some people are gonna hate that, but when it comes to just ease of use, usability, it is definitely a good thing to have. I mean, look, I'm digging in my jacket right now. I'm also shifting gears flawlessly. So as a touring bike, this bike can definitely do some work. I'm very upright. I'm very comfortable. It has multiple modes on this windscreen, and so if you want to have fun, you can. If you want to go straight, you can. This is one of those bikes that pretty much does whatever you'd like. So real quick, let's get an idea of roll on throttle, 6th gear. If you just roll on, there's beans there. Don't get me wrong though, hit this down quick shifter. And it gets even more fun. Now the brakes are Brembo, very strong. Let's see if we can find a way to not get hit over here. Okay, we're gonna go behind this Kia. Oh yeah. A lot of these corners I'll be having to slow way down, but this multi just absolutely eats it. We are gonna go ahead and shed into a slightly more comfortable gear, because as much as I love the sport mode, this is not just a sport review. So let's go ahead and go into enduro. There she is. Now the suspension is going to go ahead and adjust itself. The mapping is as well. The suspension is going to be releasing some of the preload to be a little bit more loose and relaxing. Which, wow, yeah, I can definitely feel that this bike is not as definitely not as set up for the road anymore. It's a little bit more bouncy, more enduro focused. Is it night and day? Kind of. I definitely noticed a difference that after you lean it over, there's some bounce, which is on purpose. If you're in enduro mode, you're probably gonna end up going off-road. So this bike is definitely not a beginner bike, just because of the amount of torque and the amount of weight. And I also find that, you know, newer riders, they tend to have a hard time with higher center of gravities like this. It's just a little bit less predictable on the front end. I should say less intuitive. They're very, very predictable, but you know, it's just a little bit of getting used to for sure. And I say the more experience you have with one of these, the easier it'll be to translate into a high center of gravity, because it's really all the same. Counter steer. I say it shows up in the low speeds. Oh yeah. So this bike has fully adjustable suspension, engine mapping, ABS, traction control, and load modes. So basically what I'm saying here is that you can set this bike up to be very, very easy to ride, even if you are on the newer side of your experience. Again, I'm hoping not a beginner on this bike, but you know, let's say you're not used to the front wheel coming up. This bike definitely has that kind of torque if you don't tune it down. So it's nice that, you know, you can have something that on your daily commute is looking out for you. You know, when we're riding home from work, we just, you know, worked 8, 10, 12 hours. That's when we're at probably our weakest point as riders to respond to the things that are going to happen to us on the road. Things like wheelies, things like spin. You know, if you're going out once a week, then sure, that ride is going to be very, very, you know, focused and locked in. But if you're riding every single day as a commuter, you know, little things can slip by you. You know, things like gravel, rain. And so it's really nice to have a bike that, you know, both you can set up to be very unforgiving, very precise, like a surgeon's scalpel, or something that you can set up to be sort of like a set of safety scissors with a cover. So yeah, this bike was absolutely amazing. Super light, very maneuverable. It's a sport bike, it's a dirt bike, it's everything. I can definitely understand how this bike won Multistrada, I mean how it won the Pikes Peak. Get the right rider on this thing and it's a beast. Definitely one of my favorite bikes so far. 10 out of 10.